Consistency is the key to greater success. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are all doing great. Before starting the class, I would like to tell you that whatever amount of study or preparation you have done so far, you will spare few days to revise all those because keep practicing, keep studying won't help you to remember or memorize everything, and eventually you have to revise. Revision is the best way to memorize anything, that especially for the competitive exam. If you are preparing for competitive exam, that will be helpful, beneficial if you will revise everything. In every day you will make 1 or 2 hour for the revision, only for the revision, the work, the topics you have studied. So today, as you can see on the screen, we are going to have a first marathon class for the UGC NET English Literature June exam 2025. I am little bit scared and nervous because I don't know how many of you will join initially, but I believe that in this subscriber that we just crossed 300, after a while many many of you will definitely join. So if you are new to this channel, do like, share, and subscribe, but do not forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest informations and updates. And also to get the PDF of the class, join the Telegram channel. Link is given in bio and description. So let's start the class. The question is, let me tell you, the question is going to be lengthy and tricky as per the level of UGC net. So accordingly you have to read, understand and find the correct one. Okay, so let's start. First question on your screen you have. First question, in the context of John Milton's Paradise Lost, the portrayal of Satan as a tragic hero has been a subject of much debate. Which of the following statement best reflects the tragic dimension of Satan's character in Paradise Lost? That means you have to tell that which dimension, which tragic thing happens with Satan that ultimately leads him to the fatal flaw. So option A, we have Saturn's refusal to submit to God leads to his fall, representing the Renaissance struggle between free will and divine omnipotence. Second, Saturn's downfall is a result of a fatal flaw, primarily pride, which exemplifies the tragic hero's inability to recognize the consequences of his rebellion. Option C, Saturn represents the philosophical ideal of autonomy, rejecting divine authority in favor of individual freedom, which ultimately leads to his heroic status. And option D, Saturn's role as the villain is constructed purely to illustrate Milton's religious beliefs and not to engage with the classical notion of tragic heroism. Read the question very carefully, that what you have to answer actually. Sorry. We have to finish many questions, so let me tell you what is the correct answer. So correct answer of this question is that Saturn's downfall is a result. Option number B is the correct answer, that Saturn's downfall is a result of a fatal flaw, primarily pride, which was also true for Hamlet, which exemplifies the tragic hero's inability to recognize the consequences of his rebellion. Let's move on to the next question. Virginia Woolf to the Lighthouse is often seen as a landmark in modernist literature, especially with its use of a stream of consciousness technique. How does Woolf's narrative structure in this novel challenge traditional notions of time and memory? Option A, Woolf uses a rigid chronological sequence to emphasize the inevitability of time's passage. Option B, through the lens of fragmented consciousness, Woolf explores the subjectivity of time, rendering it as a fluid and malleable concept. Option C. The novel relies on the traditional distinction between past and present to create a clear demo, demarcation between memory and experience. And option D. Time is portrayed as an external fixed force that dictates the actions and emotions of the characters with little room for personal interpretation. What would be the correct answer? You have to find out that how does Woolf's narrative structure in this novel challenge traditional notions of time and memory. Correct answer of this question would be option B. Through the lens of fragmented consciousness, Woolf explores the subjectivity of time, rendering it as a fluid and malleable concept. Now let's move to the next question. We have to finish so many questions today. To get the PDF of this question, you will have to join the Telegram channel. Next question. In T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, the protagonist's constant sense in inadequacy and self-consciousness has been interpreted as a reflection of the disillusionment of the modern man. Which of the following statement best analyzes Prufrock's existential crisis in the poem? Option A. Prufrock's crisis emerges from his rejection of societal norms, opting instead for individual expression in a world of mechanical repetition. Option B. His paralysis and inability to act reflect the fragmentation of modern existence, where personal and societal values are no longer cohesive. Option C. Prufrock's indecision is not due to any existential doubt but stems from his excessive pride in his intellectual superiority. And option D, his desire for a relationship with a woman represents his need for validation and thus an escape from his existential emptiness. What would be the correct answer? Which of the options best analyzes Prufrock's existential crisis in the work by T.S. Eliot? Correct answer of this question would be option number B. Option number B, his paralysis and inability to act reflect the fragmentation of modern existence where personal and societal values are no longer cohesive. Next question. If you are new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. Subscribe must. Question number 4. William Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury is considered a key text in the Southern Gothic genre, with its complex narrative structure and portrayal of the decline of the Compson family. How does Faulkner's use of multiple perspective and the stream of consciousness technique in the novel contribute to the themes of disintegration and memory? Read the options. You have to guess that how does Faulkner's use of multiple perspective and the stream of consciousness technique in the novel that contributes to the themes of disintegration of memory? Initial statement of the question tell you about the work, about the character. The question starts in the second part that what you have to find out as the correct answer. So always be very careful while reading the question, and also the questions are on computer based, so it is little bit difficult to scroll up and down and left and side, so left and right. So you have to work accordingly because there is a limited time to solve the question. Next, let's move to the answer. So the answer of this question is option A. By structuring the novel around fragmented narratives, Faulkner allows readers to understand the disintegration of Southern identity through the eyes of an unreliable narrator. So next question we have sorry, James Joyce Ulysses is often hailed as a work that challenges the boundaries of literary form and narrative structure. Which of the following best explains Joyce's use of Homer's Odysseys as a structural framework for the novel? That means Homer's Odysseys has some type of structural framework, and that framework James Joyce uses in his work Ulysses. So you have to find the correct option. Option A, Joyce uses the Odysseys as a direct allegory for the political and social struggle of post-war Ireland. Option B, the parallel to the Odyssey serves to heighten the existential concern of the novel, emphasizing the ordinary struggle of the characters as epic in scope. Option C, Joyce's borrowing of Homeric structure is simply a literary exercise and does not contribute meaningfully to the exploration of modern identity. And option D, the novel focuses on the traditional heroic journey, mirroring the narrative conventions of the ancient epic but without adding any significant modern context. If you have studied the Homer's Odysseys, you will find the correct one. What would be the correct answer? Okay, let's see the correct answer. So the correct answer of this question is option number B. The parallel to the Odyssey served to heighten the existential concerns of the novel, that emphasizing the ordinary struggles of the characters as epic in scope. This is what he uses. Next question. It's too long. Option Question 6. In W.B. Yeats' The Second Coming, the imagery of the rough beast slouching towards Bethlehem to be born has been interpreted as a symbol of the impending collapse of the established order. Now you have to tell that how does Yeats use this imagery to express his concern about the structural and political climate of the post-World War era? This is you have to tell. Option A. Yeats present the rough beast as a metaphor for the rise of fascism, symbolizing a reactionary force that threatens to overturn the progress of liberal democracy. Option B. The rough beast represents the inevitability of technological progress, which Yeats views are a necessary evil in an increasingly mechanized world. Option C. Yeats reinforced to the rough beast is intended to critique the failures of religion and traditional moral values in post-war Europe. And option D, the rough beast represents an esoteric force of spiritual renewal which Yeats believed would guide humanity towards a new era of enlightenment. What would be the correct answer of this question? So the correct answer of this question is option A. Yeats present the rough beast as a metaphor for the rise of fascism that symbolize a reactionary force that threatens to overturn the progress of liberal democracy. Now let's move on to the next question. The works of Samuel Beckett, particularly Waiting for Godot, are often associated with the theatre of the absurd. Which of the following best explains the thematic focus of Beckett's play? Option A, we have Beckett's plays explore the absurdity of existence, focusing on the futile quest for meaning in a universal that offers no answer. Option B, Beckett's works are primarily concerned with the development of human consciousness and the potential for intellectual and emotional growth. Option C, Beckett's plays illustrate the possibility of redemption through faith despite the chaotic nature of existence. And option D, Beckett explores human relationship as a means of demonstrating the possibility for individual success and societal integration. Find out the correct answer. Okay, so correct answer of this question would be option A. Beckett's plays explore the absurdity of existence, focusing on the futile quest for meaning in a universe that offer no answer. Like waiting for Godot, that the characters keep waiting for the someone, that means Godot, who never came. So that is existential absurdism. Next question. In Mary Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Women, she critiques the prevailing educational and system that limit women's potential. How does Wollstonecraft argue for the reform of women's education? Read the option. See the option, please. Reading lengthy questions and tiring Reading lengthy questions and reading lengthy options, I think it's too tiring. Next time I will mix the questions from day to marathon. Okay, so let's see the correct answer of this question, that how does Wollstonecraft argue for the reform of women's education? What she has talked about. Correct answer of this question is option B. She argues that women should receive the same educational opportunities as men, emphasizing rationality, independence, and moral virtue. This is happening since ancient era, that in compared to the man, women still have less access for the education. Even in India, we are facing every day. Let's move on to the next question. John Keats' Ode on a Grecian Urn explores the relationship between art, time, and human experience. Which of the following statement best captures the central theme of the poem? Now you have to tell the central theme of the poem. See the options here. These are the four options. Okay. If you have seen the option, let's see the correct answer. Central theme of John Keats' Ode to a Grecian Urn. So the correct answer of this question would be option A. The poem celebrates the timelessness of art and its ability to preserve a moment of beauty and truth that transcends the temporal nature of human life. Next question we have. Question number 10. The concept of narrative voice in Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway is essential to the exploration of the character's internal landscapes. How does Woolf's technique of free, indirect discourse allow the reader to engage with the subjective consciousness of the characters? See the options. Option A, B, C, D. Okay, let me show you the answer. So the correct answer of this question is option B. The use of free indirect discourse enables the narrative voice to move seamlessly between the character's consciousness, thus offering multiple perspectives on a single event. Now let's move on to the next question. Next question we have, in George Orwell's 1984, very important this question is, the concept of double think plays a crucial role in maintaining totalitarian control. Which of the following best explains the implications of double think for the individuals living under the party's regime? Option A. Double think allows individuals to separate truth from falsehood, enabling them to live without cognitive dissonance. Next, option B, it is a method of psychological manipulation where contradictory beliefs are accepted simultaneously, which prevents individuals from recognizing the party's falsehood. Option C, doublethink serves as a way for citizens to maintain a sense of autonomy while conforming to state imposed truth. Option D, it encourages individuals to believe in objective reality and truth, making them more resistant to propaganda. What would be the correct answer? This is the question. Doublethink plays a crucial role in maintaining totalitarian control in George Orwell's novel. Let me tell you the correct answer of this question is option B. It is a method of psychological manipulation where contradictory beliefs are accepted simultaneously, which prevents individuals from recognizing the party's falsehood. Now, let's move on to the next question. Next question we have In the Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, the poet critiques the spiritual desolation of the post World War First era. Now, which of the following best explains the role of myth in the wasteland? You have to find out that best explains the role of myth in the work The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. Option A, Eliot uses myth to emphasize the enduring power of religious faith as a source of spiritual renewal. Option B, the mythological references in the poem are designed to suggest that modern society is devoid of any meaningful or coherent narrative, offering only fragmented and disillusioned realities. Option C, the mythological figures in the poem serve to demonstrate the personal redemption of the speaker and the possibility of transcendence. Option D, myth in the wasteland represents a nostalgic return to the simplicity and purity of pre modern life. Find out the correct answer. You have to find the best explains the myth uses in the wasteland by T.S. Eliot. So the correct answer of this question is option B. The mythological references in the poem are designed to suggest that modern society is devoid of any meaningful or coherent narrative, offering any fragmented, disillusioned realities. Let's move on to the next question. Next question we have in James Joyce a portrait of the artist as a young man. The protagonist Stephen Dedalus rejects the expectations of family, religion and nation in his quest for personal freedom. How does Stephen's development throughout the novel embody the theme of self-determination? This question is also very important with the perspective of UGC NET English literature. Option A, Stephen's rejection of religion and nationalism is purely a political statement against the conservative forces in Ireland. Stephen's journey reflects his struggle to assert his individuality in a world dominated by external pressures, culminating in his realization that his art is his ultimate form of self expression. Option C, Stephen's development is driven by his growing attachment to the Catholic faith, which the ultimately adopts as a way to resolve his personal crisis. And option D, the theme of self determination in the novel is overshadowed by Stephen's inability to make any meaningful decisions about his future. What would be the correct answer? You have to guess. How does Stephen's development throughout the novel embody the theme of self determination? Self determination. So the correct answer of this question is option B. Stephen's journey reflects his struggle to assert his individuality in a world dominated by external pressures, culminating in his realization that his art is his ultimate form of self expression. Let's move on to the next question. Shall we see some short questions? Actually, it's tiring reading long questions and options all together. Never mind, let me read for you. In William Blake's Songs of Experience, the poet contrasts innocence and experience, often focusing on the corruption of the soul of societal structures. Which of the following best captures the central idea of the chimney sweeper from Songs of Experience? Option A. The poem critiques the harshness of the Industrial Revolution, highlighting the exploitation of child labor and the moral decay of society. Option B. It explores the theme of innocence, where the young chimney sweeper finds solace in the natural world despite the oppressive conditions so he faces. Option C. The poem is an expression of Blake's admiration for religious institutions, emphasizing their role in offering solace to the suffering poor. Option D. Blake uses the poem to express his belief in the inherent goodness of man, which is corrupted by the pressures of modern society. What would be the correct answer? So, the correct answer of this question is option A. The poem critiques the harshness of the Industrial Revolution that highlights exploitation of a child labor and the moral decay of society. Next question. In the picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde examines the corrupting influence of vanity, art, and moral decay. Which of the following best describes the significance of the painting in the novel? See the question. See the options. Okay. So the correct answer of this question is option B. The painting serves as a mirror to Dorian's inner self, gradually reflecting his corruption while allowing him to maintain an outward appearance of beauty and youth. Next question we have in Charlotte Perkins Gilsman's The Yellow Wallpaper, the narrator's descent into madness is often interpreted as a critique of the medical and societal treatment of women in the 19th century. Now, which of the following best captures the symbolic meaning of the yellow wallpaper itself? Option C, the options. Option A, B, C. And option D on the next page. Okay, let's see the answer. So the answer of this question is option A. The wallpaper symbolizes the confinement and oppression the narrator faces both in her physical environment and in the limitations imposed by society on her intellectual and emotional freedom. Now let's move on to the next question. Let's see the next question. In Crime and Punishment, in Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, the protagonist Raskolnikov's internal conflict is central of the novel's exploration of morality, guilt, and redemption. Which of the following best describes Raskolnikov's theory of the extraordinary man? Option A, option B, option C, and option D. See the options. Option A. Raskolnikov believed that ordinary people are bound by conventional moral laws, while extraordinary men are entitled to break these laws in the pursuit of greatness. Option B, he proposes that all men, regardless of their social standing, are equally capable of moral and immoral actions. Option C, Raskolnikov believed that there is no distinction between good and evil and that all actions are justified by the circumstances. Option D, the theory of the extraordinary man is a call to rebellion against the social order, advocating for a complete overthrow of traditional power structures. What is going to be the correct answer of this question? Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Dosto Dostoevsky. This is how you have to pronounce. So the correct answer of this question is option A. Raskolnikov believed that ordinary people are bound by conventional moral laws while extraordinary men are entitled to break these laws in the pursuit of greatness. Amazing. This is the belief of Raskolnikov's. Next question. This question is also important from the work Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. In Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, the theme of creation and responsibility is explored through Victor Frankenstein's ambition to conquer death and create life. Which of the following best describes the tragic implications of Victor's creation of the monster? See the options, everybody. If you have joined the channel first time, if you are new to the channel, do subscribe and press the bell icon to get all the latest informations and updates, and also to get the PDF of the class you simply join the Telegram channel. The link is given in descriptions and bio. Okay, here is the two options, option C and D. So the correct answer of this question is option B. Victor's creation of the monster represents humanity's potential for self-destruction when it pursues perfection at the expense of moral values. Let's move on to the next question. Actually, I have included all the lengthy questions because this is your marathon class now. But I forgot that I will tired by reading these questions and options. Sorry. So question is in Dracula by Bram Stoker. The novel addresses, I think this question we can skip. This is not important. Let's see the next one. Yes, this one is going to be important. In Herman Melville's Moby Dick, the white whale symbolizes a variety of abstract concepts. This is very important question, everybody, including obsession, nature, and fate. Which of the following best interprets the symbolic significance of the white whale in the novel? Option A. The whale symbolizes nature's ultimate victory over humanity's efforts to dominate it, demonstrating the futility of human ambition. Option B. The white whale is a symbol of Ahab's personal guilt and his desire for redemption through the destruction of creature that embodies his greatest fears. Option C. The whale represents an ideal of purity and beauty, and Ahab's pursuit of it reflects the noble quest for self improvement. Option D. The whale is a symbol of the unknowable and the infinite, representing the limits of human understanding and the internal struggle with fate. What would be the correct answer? In Herman Melville's Moby Dick, Moby Dick's character is also very popular. So if you are preparing for the NET or TGT PGT English, you must study Moby Dick. Let's see the correct answer. The correct answer of this question is the whale is a symbol of the unknowable and the infinite, representing the limits of human understanding and the external struggle with fate. Finally, we have finished the 20 questions, excluding the 19 one. Now let's see the next question. I hope the question would be shorter and options 2. So next question we have, in Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the mariner's act of killing the albatross is symbolic of. This is also important. Star. Okay, I will put a star if the question is important. Okay, so you have to tell that what act suggests when the mariners kill the albatross, the bird which have appeared in the work The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Option A, the destruction of nature's harmony. Option B, a gesture of rebellion against authority. Option C, a self-sacrificial act. Or option D, the innocence of the seafaring life. What would be the correct answer? Albatross is a bird in the work The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, S.T. Coleridge. So the correct answer of this question is option A, the destruction of nature's harmony. The destruction of nature's harmony. In the work, they finally realizes that what the scene they have created, they have done, they should not have killed that bird, which is created by God ultimately. That is why nature's harmony. Next question. In Virginia Woolf Smith's Dalloway, the narrative technique known as a stream of consciousness is used primarily to A. Show the inner thoughts of characters. Option B. Focus on external events in real life. Option C. Establish a linear narrative. And option D. Emphasize symbolic landscapes. In Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, The Room of One's Own, Virginia Woolf's work are very important. Chronologically, background, themes, everything you will face about the work of Woolf. So the correct answer of this question is that the narrative technique known as stream consciousness is issued primarily to option A, that shows the inner thoughts of character in stream of consciousness, that the way that Anita Desai has used in her work um, Clear Light of the Day. Stream of consciousness technique is developed by William James. In one of my video I have told you, you have seen, I hope you have seen the watch the earlier videos based on MCQs unit wise. If you have not watched yet, go and watch. The link is given in description. So next question we have, which of the following is a central theme in William Faulkner's The Sound of the Fury? Option A, the moral decay of southern aristocracy. Option B, the inevitability of faith. Option C, the power of industrialization. Or option D, the rise of nationalism in the south. Correct answer. So the correct answer of this question is option A, the moral decay of southern aristocracy. Let's move on to the next question. This is repeat. Yes. Next question. In John Milton's Paradise Lost, Saturn's famous line, better to regain in hell than serve in heaven, primarily reflects his. This line you can remember, that they will ask that in which work of John Milton this line has appeared and by which character this line has been said. So in which one question you will create many questions. Option A, arrogance and pride. Option B, desire for freedom. Option C, regret for rebellion. And option D, rejection of divine authority. What would be the correct answer? Saturn's famous line, it is better to better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. Correct answer of this question is option A, arrogance and pride. You have seen the question, one of the initial questions, that pride becomes fatal flaw of Saturn. That is the main character. Next question. In the work of William Shakespeare, the concept of the tragic flaw is most clearly evident in option A, Hamlet's indecision, option B, Macbeth's ambition, option C, Othello's jealousy, and option D, King Lear's pride. This is very important also. You have to find, sometimes it creates problem. So the correct answer of this question is option A, Hamlet's decision. Sorry, wrong. It's option A, Hamlet's indecision becomes the tragic flaw in Shakespeare's work. Next question. The patriarchal ideology in Charlotte Perkins Gilsman's The Yellow Wallpaper critiques option A, the confinement of women in domestic spaces, option B, the medical treatment of mental illness, option C, the role of religion in women's lives, option D, the failure of marriages as an institution. What would be the correct answer? Patriarchal ideology, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, The Yellow Paper, criticizes what? The correct answer of this question is option A, the confinement of women in domestic spaces. Now let's move on to the next question. We have to solve many questions. In Emily Dickinson's poetry, the theme of death is often depicted as option A, final journey of peace, option B, a natural inevitable process, option C, a mysterious and ambiguous experience, option D, a punishment for sin. What would be the correct answer? Emily Dickinson's poetry, the theme of death is often depicted as. Emily Dickinson's poetry's title is often become the first line of the work poem. That means she didn't have any particular title she had or she kept, but the first line of each poem described as a title. So correct answer of this question is option C, a mysterious and ambiguous experience is the theme that death that often depicted as. Next question. In William Blake's Songs of Innocence and Experience, the contrast between innocence and experience is most prominently seen in. This is very important. I think it is also one of the PYQs. PYQs. Correct. Option A, the state of childhood versus adulthood. Option B, the pure nature of the soul versus its corruption. Option C, the ideal of love versus betrayal. Option D, the clarity of dreams versus harsh reality. What would be the correct answer? The contrast between innocence and experience is most prominently seen in. Correct answer of this question is. So the correct answer of this question is option B, the pure nature of the soul versus its corruption. The child, how innocence it has been shown of the child in the poem. Next question. In Wuthering Heights, the relationship between Catherine Earnshaw and Heathcliff can be best described as option A, a reflection of ideal love and romance, option B, an obsessive destructive passion, option C, a mutual sense of loyalty and sacrifice, and option D, a product of societal pressure. What would be the correct answer? Relationship between Catherine and Heathcliff can be best described? The correct answer of this question is option B, an obsessive destructive passion. Next question, why it happens? Next question we have, in T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, Prufrock's hesitation reflects to act reflects his option A, fear of emotional commitment, option B, desire for social approval, option C, contempt for modern society, and option D, yearning for spiritual redemption. Correct answer. Prufrock's hesitation, that why he hesitate in the work. What is the reason? The correct answer of this question is the correct answer of this question is sometimes it becomes problematic actually. The correct answer of this question is fear of emotional commitment. That becomes the reason for the hesitation of Prufrock. Now let's see the next question. The central conflict in Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House is, this work is very important. Character, theme, if there is any technique, everything you should remember about this work. And writer's background, everything. Option A, Nora's internal struggle between duty and independence. Option B, Tovet's refusal to understand Nora. Option C, the societal pressure to maintain family honor. Option D, the conflict between marriage and career. What would be the correct answer? The central conflict you have to tell from the work A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. So the correct answer of this question is option A, Nora's internal struggle between duty and independence. Next question. The primary message of Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest is option A, the absurdity of societal conventions, option B, the value of genuine love, option C, the importance of moral integrity, and option D, the tragic consequences of deceit. What would be the correct answer? The primary messages of Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. So the correct answer of this question is option A. Option A, the absurdity of societal conventions. Now let's move to the next question. In Langston Hughes' poetry, the Harlem Renaissance is primarily celebrated through Harlem Renaissance. You know what is this concept is when African and many other tribal people, many other people who are not the native of America, they fought, came together for their own rights and stayed at a particular place named Harlem. That is why this thing is known as Harlem Renaissance. Option A, a focus on African American pride and identity. Option B, a critique of racial inequality and injustice. Option C, the exploration of African American folklore, and option D, the celebration of historical African figures. What would be the correct answer? You have to tell. In Langston Hughes' poetry, the Harlem Renaissance is primarily celebrated through. Correct answer of this question is option A, a focus on African American pride and identity. I just told you. Next question. The stream of consciousness in modernist literature refers to. You have to tell that. Okay, tell me the answer that who coined this term stream of consciousness, and who are the writers that uses this in their work extensively. So option A, we have the portrayal of characters' inner continuous flow of thoughts. Option B, a narrative that follows a strict chronological structure. Option C, the blending of past and present events in a storyline. And option D, a focus on social external events. What would be the correct answer? Don't mind if the question is going to repeat. If first time if you are not able to guess the correct answer, if you are seeing the question for the second time, you will have the experience to find the correct answer. You will definitely and ultimately you will find the correct answer. So correct answer of this question is the portrayal of characters' inner continuous flow of thoughts, that you keep thinking, there is something going on in your mind and you can't stop thinking what's going on. So this is the stream of consciousness. Now let's move on to the next question. The protagonist in Jean-Paul Sartre's Nausea experiences a sense of existential anxiety due to option A, his inability to find meaning in life, option B, his overwhelming guilt from past actions, option C, the inability to accept death, and option D, his societal alienation. What would be the correct answer? Jean-Paul Sartre's Nausea, that experience a sense of existential anxiety due to that means you have to tell the reason that why nausea faced. So the correct answer of this question is option A, his inability to find meaning in life. Now let's move to the next question. We have come to the question number 37 and still the marathon is about 100 questions. When I was free, I prepared 400 questions for your marathon practice, and definitely face you will see the questions from the PDF in your exam. So next question we have, in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, Gatsby's dream of rekindling his love with Daisy primarily symbolizes option A, the pursuit of the American dream, option B, the unattainable nature of perfection, option C, the power of nostalgia, and option D, the illusion of social mobility. What would be the correct answer? F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. So the correct answer of this question is option A, the pursuit of the American dream. Now let's move to the next question. The central conflict in Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis is option A, the protagonist's struggle to adapt to societal expectations, option B, the alienation resulting from the protagonist's transformation, the tension, option C, the tension between individual desire and family obligations, and option D, the desire for freedom from oppressive work conditions. The correct answer, Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis, Central Conflict. Correct answer of this question is option B, the alienation resulting from the protagonist transformation. Next question. In George Orwell's Animal Farm, the phrase all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others highlights the option A, corruption of revolutionary idea, option B, inevitability of author, authoritarian rule, option C, power of the working class, and option D, importance of societal equality. Let's see the correct answer. So the correct answer of this question is option A, corruption of revolutionary ideas. It's a request everybody that if you are new to the channel, do subscribe please, and also join the Telegram. Next question we have, the main theme of Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar revolves around option A, the desire for social recognition, option B, the struggle with mental illness and identity, option C, the critique of traditional gender roles, and option D, the exploration of love and relationships. The Bell Jar revolves around, you have to theme you have to tell the theme of the work Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Her work majorly based on confession. Let's see the answer. So the correct answer of this question is option B, the struggle with mental illness and identity. Next question. In the context of modernist literature, T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland can be seen as a critique of option A, the decline of religious values in post war Europe, option B, the fragmentation of the human psyche in this illusioned world, option C, the failure of industrialization to bring prosperity, and option D, the rise of communism and its social impacts. What would be the correct answer? So the correct answer of this question is option B, the fragmentation of the human psyche in a disillusioned world. Now let's see the next question. In The Tempest, Shakespeare uses the character of Caliban to represent Shakespeare's Tempest. Shakespeare uses the character of Caliban to represent. Option A, the noble savage, a symbol of colonial oppression. Option B, a comedic character who adds light-heartedness to the play. Option C, the voice of reason in a corrupt world. And option D, the power of nature to overcome civilization. Okay, so let's see the correct answer. Correct answer of this question is the noble savage, a symbol of colonial oppression. Let's move on to the next question. We have to complete the session, or else just we have to reach the 50 questions at least. In the portrait of the artist as a young man, James Joyce focuses on Stephen Dedler's internal conflict between option A, religion and personal freedom, option B, the ideals of nationalism and loyalty to his family, option C, the desires of the flesh and the spirit, option D, his father's aspirations and his own artistic ambitions. Correct answer. The portrait of the artist as a young man, James Joyce focuses on Stephen Dedler's internal conflict between that happens with the character Heathcliff. No, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so what would be the correct answers? The correct answer of this question is option A, religion and personal freedom. Now let's move to the next question. In W.B. Yeats' poem The Second Coming, in the line turning and turning in the widening gare refers to option A, the inevitable movement towards societal chaos and collapse, option B, the endless pursuit of spiritual enlightenment, option C, a cyclical pattern of historical regeneration, option D, the search for identity in fragmented world. What would be the correct answer? Okay, so the correct answer of this question is option A, the inevitable movement toward societal chaos and collapse. Now let's see the next question. In Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, the character of Heathcliff is best described as option A, a romantic hero who undergoes redemption, option B, a deeply flawed and vengeful character who symbolizes emotional extremes, option C, a passive victim of his circumstances, and option D, a tragic figure whose love for Catherine leads to his demise. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is option B, a deeply flawed and vengeful character who symbolizes emotional extremes. Let's see the next question. Which of the following best captures the central theme of Samuel Beckett's Endgame? Option A, the quest for redemption in a bleak world. Option B, the absurdity of human existence and the cyclical nature of suffering. Option C, the inevitability of progress through struggle. And option D, the longing for spiritual salvation. What would be the correct answer? Endgame by Samuel Beckett. Correct answer of this question is option B, the absurdity of human existence and the cyclical nature of suffering. Let's move to the next question. In the works of William Wordsworth, nature is typically portrayed as option A, a source of inspiration and moral guidance. Option B, a destructive force that mirrors human emotions. Option C, a chaotic element that destabilizes human order. And option D, a neutral backdrop to human existence. Nature poet William Wordsworth that started the age of romanticism, or romantic means that doesn't mean the love between a couple or human, but the love for the nature in human, that is the romantic era in English literature refers. Love for the nature, always remember. So William Wordsworth is also known as nature's poet. What would be the correct answer? The correct answer of this question is a source of inspiration and moral guidance. Now let's move to the next question. In the poetry of John Keats, negative capability refers to. Still, so far you have seen the questions that negative capability is a term given by John Keats. Negative capability is a term refer or coined by John Keats. But what does this term actually mean? Option A, the ability to hold conflicting emotions without the desire to resolve them. Option B, the capacity to transcend human limitations and reach divine understanding. Option C, the power to create vivid, clear imagery through language. And option D, the poetic ability to convey beauty through objectivity. Negative capability refers to. The correct answer of this question would be option A, the ability to hold conflicting emotions without the desire to resolve them. And answer me that for whom this term John Keats gave. Next question. Which of the following is a major theme of George Eliot's Middlemarch? Option A, the conflict between individual desires and societal obligations. Option B, the rise of industrial capitalism and its effects on the working class. Option C, the impact of religious reform on social institutions. And option D, the desire for romantic love in a materialistic world. George Eliot's Middlemarch theme you have to tell the major theme. George Eliot's Middlemarch. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is option A, the conflict between individual desires and societal obligations. That what we desire, what we expect to do, and but in contrast, society wants something different from you. Next question. In the context of feminist literary criticism, Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex is significant because it, option A, challenges the representation of women as passive objects in literature. Option B, argues for a biological basis for gender inequality. Option C, advocates for women's liberation through access to education. And option D, denounces the exploitation of women in the workplace. What is the correct answer? In the context of feminist literary criticism, you have to tell Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex is significant because it. This work was published in 1949. Okay. So the correct answer of this question is option A, challenges the representation of women as passive objects in literature. Let's see the next question. I won't edit the this video, but if there is an error mistake you have found, you can simply let me know in the comment section, because I do not want to miss the time that is decided 9:30 a.m. If one single student would be waiting, that is important for me. I am a teacher who respects the students' time and their also cares about their progression of the student. So we have reached the question number 51, but I will skip this question. The primary conflict in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is. You have seen this question? Okay. Let's see the next question. In the context of English Romanticism, the idea of sublime as expressed by Edmund Burke refers to option A, a feeling of awe mixed with terror, often in response to nature. Option B, the peaceful tranquility that nature provides to the human spirit. Option C, the ideal of moral purity and spiritual enlightenment. And option D, the overwhelming beauty of artistic creation. It's a request to subscribe my channel, everybody, and please do comment. Except for few, nobody is commenting. You can comment the right option. If I am doing well, you can show me any gesture with your emoji signs. And if I'm not doing well, if I need improvement, yeah, I know as I am new, I need to improve a lot. So I will do that definitely. I keep learning. I never stop learning. I like learning actually. So what would be the correct answer? The correct answer of this question is option A, a feeling of awe mixed with terror, often in response to nature. This is what the idea of sublime is, that was expressed by Edmund Burke. Next question. Where is the options? Here it is. The phrase the personal is political in feminist theory is associated with this question is important. I will put a star. The phrase the personal is political in feminist theory is associated with option A, the interconnectedness of individual experience and larger societal structures. Option B, the notion that politics should be focused on individual rights. Option C, the critique of the state's interference in personal affairs. Option D, the idea that all forms of personal expression are inherently political. This question is very important. Many questions and initial few questions were very important. You keep practicing by watching the video many times in a fast forward or a increase speed. I'm not saying to watch in a normal speed. You can see as per your convenience, uh, time, but you know now that we have less time and we have to practice more and more. So the correct answer of this question is option A, the interconnectedness of individual experiences and larger societal structure. Okay, now let's see the next question. Which of the following best characterizes the narrative technique employed in William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying? Option A, a linear structure with one central narrator. Option B, multiple fragmented perspectives that reveal the inner lives of various characters. Option C, a single omniscient narrator reflecting on past events. And option D, a detailed exploration of the psychological landscape of one character. What would be the correct answer? You have to find out the narrative technique that was employed in William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is option B, multiple fragmented perspectives that reveal the inner lives of characters. Various characters. Now let's see the next question. This is going to be the last question actually, because the time is about to post the video and I Okay, so the term stream of consciousness in modernist literature is most closely associated with option A, the detailed analysis of external events, option B, the representation of continuous inner thoughts and feelings, and option C, a focus on traditional narrative techniques and structure, and option D, the blending of historical and cultural elements in narrative. The modernist stream of consciousness in modern literature mostly closely or mostly associated with which term? So the correct answer of this question is option B, the representation of continuous inner thoughts and feelings. This question is important. Let me see, then after that I will finish the class. Options, yes. Which of the following is a major motif in Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart? Option A, the power of colonialism to erase cultural identity. Option B, the importance of religious faith as a source of community strength. Option C, the tension between traditional African customs and Western influences. And option D, the universal theme of love and family. Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. Major motive. You have to guess, find out. Okay, so the correct answer of this question is option C, the tension between traditional African customs and Western influences. This is the correct answer of the question. Okay, everybody, this is all for today. This is the marathon, but I do not want to increase the length of the video. We will finish the remaining question in next. After 2 days I will post the another marathon if you want. So this is all for today. If you have liked the session, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so that you can get all the latest informations and post updates and also join the Telegram channel. And also, if I have done any error mistakes in this video, do feel free to let me know, and I apologize that there is such mistakes. Actually I am recording this in a very less time, so there is a chances that there would be any mistake. So that is why I am telling you, because I don't know, no, I have no time to edit this. Okay, so prepare well and do practice, but most importantly, as the initial of the video, beginning of the video, I told you that do not forget to revise and relax and then retrieve. These are three you remember. Revise are three, I'm telling you. Revise, relax and retrieve. I'm not telling you to read or study continuously, but rest is also important. So keep revising, keep practicing, and all the best for your exams. And wait for the next video that will be on Unit 6, English in India, History, Evolution and Futures, Day 9. Okay, so that's all for today. Take care and bye-bye. Thank you for so much for watching, and thank you so much for your support.